Greetings fellow cultivators. Welcome to Auto Nova. Remember to like and subscribe to support the journey. Today, we're diving into the story of what's the point of cultivating immortality if you don't have money. Hearing the large number from the doll's mouth made Xiong Yu's heart skip a beat, and a look of desire appeared in his eyes. He really wanted to make more money now. After all, in Kongshu, money is potential, money is the future, money is power. If you don't have money, you can't even pay the interest on next month's loan. A poor ghost has no sense of security at all. The doll continued to persuade, moreover, the risk of this matter is not as great as you think. The reason why you feel it's very dangerous is just because of the company's propaganda. This kind of propaganda constantly instills the ideas of don't be an enemy of the company, and the consequences of being an enemy of the company will be terrible into your mind. The dark tutoring world can continue to exist, naturally there is its reason. After listening to the doll's next introduction, Xiong Yu gained a further understanding of the situation. Major companies have extremely deep control over the first level of Kongshu and can also respectfully invite the eight gods to help them investigate information from all parties. But not all places in this world are absolutely controlled by them, and it is not that there is no power to cover up the investigation of the eight gods. The poorer the place, the more poor ghosts, the fewer people who cultivate immortality, the worse the infrastructure, there are not many monitors, and it is easiest to escape the company's surveillance. As for the eight gods, and the municipal government, which large gang doesn't pay taxes according to the law, and have devout faith? They still have righteous gods protecting them. Xiong Yu was speechless and said, paying taxes according to the law, and having devout faith, can you break the law? The doll said as a matter of course paying taxes according to the law, and having devout faith, can you break the law? Moreover, behind every big gang, there are other big companies supporting them. Gangs are one of the tools used by big companies to deal with other big companies. After all, the top 10 sects monopolize Kongshu, but the companies under the top 10 sects still have to compete. Gangs are like chamber pots in the hands of companies, and have their own space to survive. Listen to me, if you are an ordinary high school student, I would definitely not recommend you to go, but you have mastered level 10 skills, so it is too suitable to hide your identity and go to illegal tutoring. Besides, we are in the same boat now. If something happens to you, I will also be unlucky. How could I lie to you? In the past, Xiong Yu had also heard some vague rumors about gangs, but this was the first time he had heard so many inside stories. And although all this sounded very plausible, Xiong Yu still couldn't completely trust the evil god in front of him, so he sent a message to Jiang Pianpian, asking about the dark tutoring world. Jiang Pianpian, why did you think of asking this? Xiong Yu, a friend of mine told me, I'm short of money, so I want to find some ways to make money. Jiang Pianpian, well, you can win the first place in martial arts, you do have some capital. Jiang Pianpian, go to this address and give it a try. Do it if you can. If you can't, continue to accumulate strength. Then Jiang Pianpian made a video call. After Xiong Yu answered, he saw the other party drawing a talisman with his fingertips, and a concealment talisman had fallen on his head, along the network cable. Jiang Pianpian, okay, this concealment talisman can prevent others from seeing your composition for 12 hours and help you hide your identity. In addition, if you want to cover up your face and figure, you can also try our newly practiced Scarlet Marrow Primordiality. Xiong Yu curiously watched Jiang Pianpian's process of drawing the talisman, and asked, how much faith level does it take to draw a talisman across the network cable? Jiang Pianpian, don't think about it now, let's do the things at hand first. Hanging up the phone, looking at the address sent by Jiang Pianpian, it was a place nearly 70 kilometers away from the center of Songyang City, which can be said to be the far outskirts of the far outskirts. And savoring the words sent by Jiang Pianpian, Xiong Yu's heart-moved sister also knows about the dark tutoring world, but she seems to think that I may not be able to get a class. Is it because she doesn't know that I already have several level 10 skills, so she thinks I can't get along in the dark tutoring world? Xiong Yu's trust in Jiang Pianpian is definitely more than the doll's. Looking again at the dark night outside, the neon lights hanging high in the sky, it was a good time to go out, and there was also a concealment talisman to cover his identity. But if you want to go to the dark tutoring world, you really have to hide your identity. Sister said I can try Scarlet Marrow Primordiality. Thinking of this, Xiong Yu's eyes suddenly moved. Could it be that I want to control the muscles of my whole body, to change my image? Just when Zhang Yu was thinking about how to use Scarlet Marrow Primordial Key to change his image, the doll hanging on his neck said in surprise, "You still have such a powerful woman covering you. She can even draw talismans across the network. Her talisman cultivation is not low." Zhang Yu ignored the doll, but tried to change the muscles on his face. With his level 10 Scarlet Marrow Primordial Key cultivation, his control over the muscles of his whole body has already reached a peak that he had never reached in the past, but he didn't realize that he could use this trick to change his image before. At this moment, after a little try, he saw that his image in the mirror had changed greatly, from handsome and unrestrained to ordinary, and even after he controlled the muscles of his whole body, his height was shortened, and he looked like a completely different stranger. More than half an hour later, as Zhang Yu's location got closer to that place, the infrastructure on the road became worse and worse. When there were still more than 10 kilometers left, there was not even a bus stop. Zhang Yu had to rely on his own feet to run over, but fortunately, with his current physical strength, running was not slow or too tiring. It's just that the houses along the way are getting shorter and shorter, the roads are getting worse and worse, the alleys on both sides are dark, quiet, and there are not many lights to be seen. Zhang Yu felt that he had come all the way from a science fiction metropolis to a dilapidated small county. Compared to here, Zhang Yu felt that his rented house could be called a good place. And seeing such a quiet night, Zhang Yu felt a little uncomfortable. Yes, the people living in this neighborhood are all mortals, so naturally they are all sleeping at night. Sleeping, a word that has gradually become distant for Zhang Yu, made him feel a little emotional for a while. But it is precisely because of such a poor place that there is a lack of monitoring and management, and companies are unwilling to invest too much construction here, which has left a space for gangs to survive. Continuing all the way forward, when Zhang Yu felt his body getting slightly hot and starting to sweat, he finally arrived at the location on the address. The imposing gate, the vehicles entering and exiting from time to time, the guard booth at the door, and the sign of Songyang North Moon High Tech, Service, Industry, Park. All of this was completely different from the dark and humid gang residence that Zhang Yu thought. Zhang Yu said in surprise, "This is the gang's territory for doing illegal tutoring business. It looks too formal, right?" The doll said, "People pay taxes according to the law and have devout faith. They are originally a regular gang." Zhang Yu frowned, never expecting that the word gang could be associated with the word regular. Zhang Yu asked doubtfully, "Shouldn't gangs be fighting and killing and be invisible?" The doll chuckled, "Those you mentioned are all small bastards mixed at the bottom, tools that are used and discarded. What you talk about when you come out is money and background. If you only know how to fight and kill, you will die in the streets sooner or later." The doll seemed to know this well, only listening to her introduce, "Look at this service industry industrial park, that is the territory of the Dark Learning Gang, specializing in illegal tutoring, skill cracking and modification, spreading pirated skills and other businesses. The company behind it is the Deep Sea Education Group." Zhang Yu was surprised again. Deep Sea Education Group. He remembered that the tutoring class that the original body found was under the name of Deep Sea Education Group. Zhang Yu asked doubtfully, "I remember that Deep Sea Education Group itself is an education group that develops skills and runs tutoring institutions, right? Why support the Dark Learning Gang?" The doll laughed again. "How fresh, there is more than one company doing education business. The Dark Learning Gang is their tool to crack the skills of rival companies, help do skill experiments, and attack enemy gangs. In short, it is a tool to do all kinds of dirty work." While speaking, Zhang Yu had already walked into the park, and according to the address given by Zhang Pianpian, he found the number plate of a small building. Along the way, the security guards in the park were polite, and the scenery along the road was pleasant. Zhang Yu really couldn't see that this was the territory of a gang. Looking at the small building in front of him, Zhang Yu pushed the door in, thought about it, and still said to the front desk, according to what Zhang Pianpian taught him, "I'm here to give a class." The front desk said with a smile, "Okay sir, please wait in room 105 for a while, our sales staff will be over soon." Zhang Yu walked in the direction of the front desk's finger, and when he passed several rooms, he heard the faint sound of quarrels coming from them. "Damn it. In order to sell this martial art, 2 of my brothers were fined into bankruptcy, and 1 brother was dismembered and sold by the company. Are you still cutting the price for me now? Dog eyes. It's useless for you to be fierce to me. The rules in the gang are like this, level 7 class is this price." Rules. Rules. I used to go to smash the golden class gang's place by myself, and I set fire to their 16 underground tutoring classes by myself. Why didn't you tell me the rules? Now I'm old, I can't learn anymore, you tell me the rules. Seeming to notice someone approaching, the room door was closed, and Xiong Yu couldn't hear the movement inside anymore. Walking into room 105, after Xiong Yu waited for a while, a polite middle-aged man walked in, closed the door, and then asked politely, "What can I do for you, sir?" At this moment, the doll's voice rang in Xiong Yu's mind. "Tell him, I have a batch of classes to give, let's test the goods first. You don't understand the local gang, do as I say, don't let the other party treat you as a rookie, let me help you negotiate the price, you can definitely earn more." Xiong Yu was slightly stunned. He didn't expect that this doll could directly transmit sound to his mind. But he felt that there was nothing wrong with what the doll wanted him to say, and next he planned to combine the information given by the doll to have a conversation with the other party. Xiong Yu suppressed his voice and said, "I have a batch of classes to give, you can test the goods first." Xiong Yu's body shook, and streams of milky white gong, qi, poured out of his body, turning into a cloud of mist surrounding him, in the blink of an eye. It was the level 10 infinite cloud hand. Seeing Xiong Yu display a level 10 limitless cloud hand, the middle-aged man's gaze showed a hint of respect. A level 10 limitless cloud hand, high-quality goods like this are rare indeed. Impressive, impressive. In the middle-aged man's mind, someone who could cultivate a combat technique like limitless cloud hand to level 10 must already be at the peak of ki refining. They must have the money, leisure, and dedication to delve into this kind of practical martial art after graduating high school. After all, in most people's minds, it's impossible for someone to not cultivate their Dao heart, not cultivate their mana, not cultivate their physical body, and simply raise limitless cloud hand to level 10. Someone who has the time to raise limitless cloud hand to level 10 has likely raised their other stats to the limit of the ki refining stage. The man thought to himself, maybe it's a martial arts teacher from some high school, secretly earning extra money by teaching classes. However, he had no intention of delving into it. The most taboo thing in this line of work is to inquire about other people's secrets. The middle-aged man then asked, "Then I need to register your information here, so I'll ask a few questions." Seeing Xiong Yu nod, the middle-aged man said, "I don't know if you want to work part-time or full-time." Xiong Yu: "Part-time." Middle-aged man: "What is your teaching experience like?" The doll said, "Tell him you have 10 years of teaching experience. Trust me, it's accurate." Xiong Yu thought for a moment, thinking that he was hiding his identity anyway, so he said, 10 years of teaching experience at a key high school. The middle-aged man nodded slightly, which was in line with his guess. He recorded it while continuing to ask, "Do you have any specialties?" Under the doll's guidance, Xiong Yu gradually grasped the way to answer, "I specialize in teaching techniques. Besides limitless cloud hand, I also have many level 10 techniques." The middle-aged man then asked, "In your class, how do you usually improve students' participation and concentration?" Xiong Yu: "The most basic method is to make the poor students kneel and listen to the class, let the excellent students insult the poor students together, and give different treatments according to different classroom performances." The middle-aged man nodded with satisfaction, then asked, "I wonder if you can accept customers with lower IQs?" Xiong Yu was stunned when he heard this: lower IQs. The middle-aged man smiled helplessly. "After all, we are targeting the sinking market. The students who come here to buy classes are generally average. The average total score for 6 subjects is below 450. They don't have high IQs, so teachers need to be patient enough and speak simply enough, which is different from your teaching in keyed high schools." Good heavens, so ordinary high school students and graduates are idiots in your eyes? Xiong Yu resisted the urge to roll his eyes and nodded, saying, "I am very good at teaching scumbags." The middle-aged man then said, "Also, our customers here are relatively poor, so teachers have the task of promoting financial services. I don't know if you can accept it." Xiong Yu frowned. "Financial services?" The middle-aged man smiled and said, "It's just promoting tutoring loans, installment class fees, and things like that to students." Seeing Xiong Yu's silence, the middle-aged man smiled again and said, "It doesn't matter. As long as your teaching quality is good enough, it doesn't matter if you don't promote financial services." Then the middle-aged man asked, "If you encounter an attack from the company's security team, or other gangs during tutoring, are you willing to participate in the battle? If you fight, are you willing to kill people?" Xiong Yu was silent for a while when he heard this, thinking that he deserved to be in the dark tutoring world. The teacher has to consider fighting and killing while tutoring. However, what made Zhang Yu slightly gratified was that the other party at least considered his feelings and asked if he was willing, which was barely considered moral. The middle-aged man continued, "We understand your hesitation. After all, fighting and killing require a lot of expenses, but please rest assured that according to the rules of our dark learning gang, all fines and compensation required for fighting and killing during tutoring will be reimbursed for you." Zhang Yu withdrew his gratification, thinking that they just felt the price hadn't been negotiated. Gang fights were so common in your eyes. Of course, Zhang Yu couldn't agree to this condition. Although he had reached level 10 in many techniques, his basic stats such as mana and physical strength were still at the high school level. He didn't dare to participate in any gang fights. Hearing Zhang Yu's refusal, the middle-aged man nodded to show his understanding. After another series of questions and answers, he smiled at Zhang Yu and said, "I have recorded the specific situation almost completely. But what kind of class can be arranged for you and how to price the course still needs to be determined after you try out the class." The so-called trial class is to have Zhang Yu try to teach a class, and then the Black Learning Gang will arrange courses and pricing based on the teaching quality. The middle-aged man added, "Although your limitless cloud hand is very powerful, the market for pure combat techniques is not as large as the market for health, study, and work-related techniques." The middle-aged man was worried that the suspected high school teacher in front of him was limited by the teaching experience of high schools and could not accurately grasp the needs of the sinking market. So the middle-aged man continued, "Of course, I'm not saying that limitless cloud hand is bad. Someone will definitely be willing to pay to learn this technique, but our customers are often more interested in some more basic techniques." Hearing what the other party said, Zhang Yu suddenly thought of the rankings he saw when he bought techniques online. So Zhang Yu said, "Health and disease removal technique, excavation palm, crane claw, racing car leg. Is the market for these techniques bigger?" The middle-aged man smiled slightly. Indeed, this type of technique has the most demand for tutoring. Although the fee for each student is cheap, one class can often teach dozens, or even hundreds of students at the same time, earning more than high-end small classes like Limitless Cloud Hand. In addition to that, there are the basic high school techniques, such as Scattered Hand, basic swordsmanship, and basic breathing. Zhang Yu's eyes moved when he heard this, and he thought to himself, excavation palm and crane claw have the largest market. Maybe I can use feather book specialization to raise these techniques to level 10 in a short time, and then teach classes. The middle-aged man continued, "Then let's make an appointment for the trial class time. I need to arrange a teacher to listen to the class. Are you free in 5 days?" Zhang Yu calculated slightly and nodded, saying, "No problem, then let's do it in 5 days." The middle-aged man then asked, "I don't know what else we plan to teach in the trial class besides Limitless Cloud Hand. We also need to arrange a teacher with researching this area to listen to the class and then score you." Zhang Yu thought to himself, health and disease removal technique is an expert level technique, and the price is not cheap. It also involves various parts of the body, and the movements are complicated, so it may not be fast to practice. Excavation palm, crane claw, racing car leg, and elevator leap are advanced techniques. They are cheap and have simple moves. They should be like back drag and overturning mountain hand, a practical martial art, and they are much faster to practice. However, to be on the safe side, he reported less. He only heard him say, "Besides Limitless Cloud Hand, I can also teach excavation palm and racing car leg." This meant he could teach both high-end and low-end classes. The middle-aged man smiled and nodded. "Then I look forward to your performance in 5 days. By the way, I wonder if it's convenient for you to leave your contact information." After confirming that Zhang Yu was unwilling to leave his phone number, the middle-aged man said, "Then please download a game called God World and add me as a friend. We can chat about course information in the game in the future." The latest novels are first published on Liu 9 Shuba. On the way out of the park, the doll couldn't help but say, "Did you also practice this excavation palm and racing car leg?" She couldn't imagine that a student from a key high school would actually practice these ox horse techniques. She originally thought that Zhang Yu could sell some high-end small classes with his level 10 Limitless Cloud Hand. Who knew that he was actually planning to teach low and large class courses like excavation, palm, and racing car leg? Zhang Yu took out his mobile phone and opened the shopping website, buying excavation palm and racing car leg, while casually saying, I haven't practiced them, but 5 days is enough for me to learn them. Xiong Yu knew that since he was going to be with the doll all the time, some things couldn't be hidden. The doll frowned when she heard this. How can 5 days be enough? And even if you learn these two techniques, there are so many teachers in the dark, tutoring world, in the black learning gang. You've only learned them for 5 days, how can you compete with them? You should stop messing around with these things, and honestly teach limitless cloud hand. Xiong Yu naturally didn't bother to pay attention to the doll's pessimism. With excavation palm and racing car leg in hand, his account balance was reduced by another 3,500, leaving him with more than 12,000 yuan. So after returning to the unfinished building, Xiong Yu began to practice the newly purchased techniques. First, excavation palm. This palm technique is a power-based palm technique that imitates the excavator, which can condense a trace of shovel strength to excavate materials and level the ground. Because it is a purely work-use palm technique, it does not contain any combat or body refining content, and the moves are very simple. There are only 3 moves in total: front shovel, reverse shovel, and sweep shovel. Xiong Yu nodded slightly, thinking to himself, can this set be finished in a few seconds? Then it should be easy to learn. Xiong Yu briefly browsed the secret manual, and then switched Featherbook specialization to this technique. Then he saw his palms clapping continuously in the air, and bursts of invisible force gushed out, seeming to form some kind of momentum, but in the next moment, it went out of control, and dissipated into the air. Seeing Xiong Yu stunned in place, after finishing a whole set of excavation palm without any effect, the doll sighed, I told you were wasting time. You want to cultivate this technique in a short time, and then compare with those teachers who have been teaching for many years. How can you? But before she could finish speaking, Xiong Yu, who was still stunned in place, had already moved again. And this time, Xiong Yu's palms brought up bursts of whistling sounds, as if there was a huge shovel scooping back and forth in the air. The doll watched this scene dumbfounded. No, did you learn it just like that? Did you learn it so quickly? And looking at this posture, it's like you've been practicing it for a long time. Is this the potential that this kid has developed? Can he learn techniques quickly? But what happened next shocked the doll even more. In just over an hour, she unbelievably saw Xiong Yu's excavation palm advance, by leaps and bounds, from a novice who had never learned it to an excavation palm master, who was flowing smoothly between palms, as if he wanted to level the entire unfinished building. Seeking monthly tickets. In the unfinished building, Xiong Yu stood silently in the empty hall, his mind replaying the effects of reaching level 10, with the excavation palm technique, the moment he unleashed it. With that one palm strike, my control over the shovel force has deepened, and the area I can shovel has doubled, right? Xiong Yu thrust out another palm, the force of the shovel force creating a whistling sound in the air, as it slowly blasted forward. Although this excavation palm can unleash a powerful force, the wind-up before the strike is too long, the movements are too slow, and lack agility. As expected, it's not suitable for combat. It's not very useful if I don't go to the construction site. He shook his head helplessly, knowing that these workhorse techniques wouldn't help his college entrance exam scores much. It doesn't matter, sharpening the axe won't delay the work. As long as it can help me earn more money, it's okay to waste some time practicing these martial arts. But now that he had cultivated the excavation palm to level 10, Xiong Yu naturally wouldn't continue practicing this technique. And because the cooldown time for the feather book hadn't passed yet, he continued to cultivate the level 10 Scarlet Marrow Primordial Key, striving to improve his physical strength. Another 5 days passed in the blink of an eye. In these 5 days, Xiong Yu not only cultivated the excavation palm and racing car legs to level 10, but also bought the crane claw and elevator leap, cultivating them all to level 10 respectively. Adding in the expenses for food, transportation, and other things over these 5 days, Xiong Yu's savings steadily decreased. Fortunately, he tutored Song Hailong twice, which allowed Xiong Yu to maintain his savings at over 15,000. At this moment, Xiong Yu asked Zhang Pian for another stealth talisman, then used the Scarlet Marrow Primordial Key to alter his appearance, and then set off on the road to the trial lesson. Unlike last time, when he relied on running to arrive, this time Xiong Yu used the racing car legs technique during the journey. He felt the mana in his body roaring, making buzzing sounds like a car engine. With the infusion of mana, his feet swung rapidly, and he sped away, leaving a series of afterimages behind him. Compared to the excavation palm and crane claw techniques, the racing car legs and elevator leap are much more useful. Thinking of how the excavation palm, after reaching level 10, could shovel twice as much material, and the crane claw, after reaching level 10, could use both claws to lift heavy objects, Xiong Yu felt speechless. Like the excavation palm, long wound-up slow movements, not suitable for combat, just workhorse techniques for labor. In comparison, the racing car legs and elevator leap were much more cost-effective. As a commonly used technique for deliverymen, the racing car legs used mana to infuse the legs, accelerating movement, running like the wind, allowing deliverymen to quickly traverse the city without needing a car or electric scooter, arriving at their destination on time. The elevator leap could use mana to constrict muscles, allowing the human body to explode with extremely fierce jumping power, like a spring, so that deliverymen, when faced with buildings without elevators, would not be frustrated and embarrassed, leaping straight to the target floor after continuous jumps, with the person and goods arriving together. Speaking of which, this is the first time I've cultivated a lightness skill. This thing really makes daily life much more convenient. Thinking of the level 10 effects of these two techniques, Xiong Yu couldn't help but smile slightly, marveling at their practical effects. Level 10 racing car legs could protect the soles of shoes with mana, reducing wear and tear, and reducing the frequency of shoe replacement. Level 10 elevator leap could transform vertical jumping into horizontal long jumping, helping countless deliverymen jump over traffic lights and congested traffic, delivering goods on time. At this moment, Xiong Yu's mana rose from his dantian, infusing his legs and abdomen, and with a burst of muscle constriction, his whole body leapt up, spanning a distance of more than 20 meters, leaping over the traffic light in front of him. With these racing car legs and elevator leap, every time I go to tutoring, it will probably take me only 30 or 40 minutes to reach my destination. As my mana becomes more abundant, and my physical strength becomes stronger, my movement speed and jumping distance will also be stronger, and it will be even faster then. The doll hanging below Xiong Yu's neck looked at this scene, and even at this moment, still felt unbelievable in its heart. The doll thought to itself, no, although these for martial arts are simple, they have all risen to level 10 in such a short period of time. Is this kid really the potential I stimulated? Then I want to give myself a boost too. How the hell did he do it? In these 5 days, besides cultivating these for new martial arts, Xiong Yu spent most of his time diligently practicing the Scarlet Marrow Primordial Key. It was a pity that without the blessing of the primordial pill, and having to be distracted by other things, his physical strength only increased to level 1.98 in 5 days. I really want to eat primordial pills. Practicing without eating pills feels like the more I practice, the more I lose. Arriving at that small building in the park again. The middle-aged man who had received Xiong Yu before had been waiting for a long time. He looked at Xiong Yu in front of him and smiled. You've arrived. Speaking of which, I still don't know what to call you, sir. Xiong Yu casually said, just call me Ma Yurtung. What about you? What should I call you? The other party said you can just call me Black Crow. Then please follow me, the teachers are already waiting for you. Xiong Yu followed the other party to a secret door and entered the underground tutoring base, where he saw security guards almost every 5 steps and a post every 10 steps. Just from the various tattoos on these security guards, such as study everyday stealing studies, everyone tutoring one could tell that they were all members of the Dark Learning Gang. What Xiong Yu found strange was each of these gang members had a number 0 displayed above their heads, making Xiong Yu wonder what the number 0 meant. Suddenly, a security guard with -122 above his head trotted over. The -122 above his head kept changing, from -122 to -123, then to -124. Xiong Yu couldn't contain his curiosity any longer and asked, what do the numbers above their heads mean? Hearing this, Black Crow smiled and said, this is a job monitoring system developed in cooperation with the True Gods, after the gang adopted corporate management. If they are away from their post for a certain amount of time, their wages will be deducted. He's had so much deducted maybe he had diarrhea. Xiong Yu twitched his lips, isn't that too strict? Black Crow smiled faintly these days. Anyone with a little ambition is heavily in debt. It's just a matter of deducting some wages from work, it's a necessary test for young people. Xiong Yu smiled awkwardly, hee. This gang is really like going to work. Black Crow's eyes lit up, and he said, thank you for your praise, Your Excellency. The gang leader has been committed to standardizing and corporatizing the Dark Learning Gang, so that it can become a new company and enter the city in the future. The latest novels are first published on 69shu.com. Saying that, he sighed after all. if they couldn't find a good job, how many people would willingly join a gang? After joining a gang, their resume is completely ruined, and they will never have the opportunity to enter a large company. Good heavens, Xiong, you understood. So, the gang is made up of people who can't find jobs. Is this an unemployed people's mutual aid association? Black Crow said towards the front. The tutoring classroom is ahead. The toilets are on the left and right. If you continue down the stairs, there are practice rooms, bathrooms, and a cafeteria. Just as Black Crow was introducing the facilities here, a burst of noise came from the classroom door not far away. Xiong Yu turned his head and saw a poster that read, "Sign up for the White Dragon tutoring class and enjoy the teaching life of the first high school all night long." During the day, you may just be an ordinary student in an ordinary high school, but at night you can be a White Dragon person and enjoy the pleasure of soaring grades. Below the poster, a student complained the teacher is so gentle, even the worst students don't have to kneel. What kind of White Dragon class is this? I pay to experience the teaching quality of a prestigious school. What's the difference between this and studying in an ordinary high school during the day? Xiong Yu was shocked. There are people who pay to experience the teaching life of White Dragon High School. But the next moment, he felt ridiculous for his shock. Isn't that nonsense? With my understanding of these crazy students and crazy parents in Songyang City, if paying could allow them to experience the teaching life of White Dragon High School, even if it was just an advertising effect, there would definitely be people lining up to pay. At the same time, inside another classroom, several teachers were chatting while smoking. An old man with white hair and the words "one lesson a day" tattooed on his arm took a deep breath and then exhaled the smoke of the Dao Heart Buffer. Dao Heart Buffer, as an important drug to improve Dao Heart, has been widely circulated in Kongshu due to its strong addictive properties and has been made into different types such as cigarettes, alcohol, and beverages for people to use. After taking a few more puffs, the old man said, "How is the new teacher? I heard that he may be from a key high school." Opposite the old man, a middle-aged woman with a scar on her face said, coldly, "What kind of top students do key high schools take in? Those students are rich and smart themselves. Can a teacher who is used to teaching such students teach the worst students? Has he ever been in contact with trash below 450 points? With the grades of most of the students here, if they were thrown into a key high school, they would all be at the level of school traders. Can he teach them?" Another middle-aged man over 3 meters tall was practicing martial arts in a serious manner. His exaggerated muscles were covered with needle holes, indicating that he was a body refining expert. The middle-aged man over 3 meters tall snorted. "Does a teacher from a key high school want to teach digging, palm, or sports car legs? Has he worked on a construction site? Has he delivered takeout? Does he have the ability to teach?" "I've been working on construction sites for 11 years, and car woman, you have 8 years of takeout experience. Can he be more familiar with these two martial arts than us?" The old man didn't have such big opinions, and smiled. "After all, he is an expert who can cultivate boundless cloud hand to level 10. Let's watch and see." A moment later, Black Crow walked in with Xiong Yu and introduced to everyone, "This is Ma Yurtong, teacher Ma, who will be giving a trial class today." Black Crow pointed to the old man and said, "This is Kai Tu, who has taught boundless cloud hand. This is Car Woman, level 10 in sports car legs. This is Big Shovel, level 10 in digging palm." Xiong Yu understood with a slight listen that these 3 people, like him, were using nicknames. Obviously, they were also hiding their identities, and even their current appearances might not be real. Xiong Yu nodded slightly and said, "Thank you for your trouble." Big Shovel, who was more than 3 meters tall, curled his lips and said, "Everyone's time is precious, so let's start the class quickly." Xiong Yu strongly agreed with this point and directly activated the formless cloud force. In an instant, clouds and mist surrounded him, like an immortal. "Then I'll talk about boundless cloud hand first." Listening to Nova, Xiong Yu dared to come and try teaching. Naturally, he had confidence in his teaching abilities. And this confidence came not only from the fact that the 3 cultivation techniques he was going to explain, limitless cloud hand, excavation palm, and racing car legs, had all reached level 10. But also from his profound understanding of mana control, after pushing the Joshin key, gathering, method, and limitless cloud hand to level 10. And his deep understanding of the physical structure and muscle exertion, after his 36 body strengthening, exercises, and scarlet marrow primordiality, reached level 10. Of course, there was also the experience and insights brought by the level 10 limitless cloud hand, imperishable seal technique, back dragon overturning mountain hand, heavenly martial heart refining art. These cultivation techniques constantly increased his martial arts skills. Unknowingly, Xiong Yu had reached a level in mana control, physical control, and martial arts skills that he had never dared to imagine before. And all these breakthroughs of his were completed in the last 2 months or so. In other words, at this moment, he still remembered the feeling of breaking through from level 1 to level 10 for each of his cultivation techniques. He still remembered many of the difficulties, doubts, and incomprehension he had when he was a novice practicing these cultivation techniques. Therefore, with Xiong Yu's knowledge and experience, when he explained the various techniques in Limitless Cloud Hand, he could often point out the essentials in a few words, and a few casual remarks could contain insights that others could only gain after years of accumulation. Kai too, who had 1 lesson a day tattooed on his arm, had only cultivated Limitless Cloud Hand to level 8. After listening to Xiong Yu for a few minutes, he felt a sense of sudden enlightenment, and even had the urge to start practicing on the spot. In particular, Xiong Yu's guidance and insights on level 8 Limitless Cloud Hand made Kai to feel like he was speaking to his heart. Good, you've really explained it too well. Kaita said with a beaming face, if Teacher Ma opens a Limitless Cloud Hand class in the future, I will definitely sign up for it. Da Chan and Che Envy glanced at each other, and there seemed to be a hint of surprise in their eyes. They didn't expect Kaitu to have such a high evaluation of this Ma Yurtung. After receiving Kaitu's praise, Xiong Yu looked at Che Envy and said, then I'll talk about racing car legs next. But at this moment, Black Crow on the side suddenly said, Teacher Ma, your lecture is very good, but if you can add a little something, it will be more popular here. Xiong Yu asked curiously, add what? Black Crow, a bit of the teaching style of Akid High School. Just as Xiong Yu was thinking about what the teaching experience of Akid High School was, the doll hanging on his chest explained, how did the teacher treat you when you were studying in Akid High School? You treat them the same way, take out the experience you were educated in the Key High School. Xiong Yu pondered, then looked at the few people in front of him and asked, when I was in Key High School, I taught sterilized students. I don't know if the 3 teachers are currently in a sterilized state, or have they already had restoration surgery. Kaita said a little embarrassedly, we all studied in ordinary high schools, and sterilization was not required at that time. Xiong Yu said, oh. And Kaitu, Che Envy, and Da Chan looked at Xiong Yu, who should have been sterilized, and themselves, who had never been sterilized, and immediately felt that they seemed to be a notch below the other party. Xiong Yu simply took out his experience at White Dragon High School and asked, I see there's a toilet here. Do teachers and students need to use the toilet? Should we also consider the problem of students going to the toilet during class? The 3 looked at each other, and finally nodded together. Xiong Yu asked curiously, there's a question I've always wanted to ask. Can't the intelligence-boosting agent here choose a flavor? I don't seem to have smelled it. Kaita said a little awkwardly, conditions are limited. We didn't add intelligence-boosting agents to the air circulation system here. Black Crow on the side looked at it with bright eyes, thinking yes, that's the taste of Key High School's insulting students. And then Xiong Yu became more and more skilled at integrating the teaching experience of high school into the class. He thought to himself, well, it's not too difficult. Just repeat how the teachers in Songyang High School usually discriminate against low-scoring students, and how the White Dragon people and Xian people talk to the Songyang people. And as Xiong Yu continued to explain excavation palm and racing car legs, Che Envy and Da Chan discovered that Xiong Yu's understanding of excavation, palm, and racing car legs was completely no less than theirs, and he had a unique understanding of the muscle exertion and mana operation on his body. What surprised them even more was that Xiong Yu was thoroughly familiar with all the key points of these 2 cultivation techniques from level 1 to level 10, as if he had just broken through not long ago. But of course, the 2 of them knew that the other party could not have just cultivated these level 10 cultivation techniques, so it could only be that the other party had extremely rich teaching experience, and had guided various students in breaking through at different levels of these 2 cultivation techniques. Che Envy cupped her hands, the original indifferent expression had disappeared, and her face was full of admiration, and said, your teaching quality is extremely high, and your teaching style is mature. It is definitely more than enough to come here to teach. Da Chan on the side did not speak, but also nodded slightly, recognizing Cheyen's statement. After all, in the dark tutoring world, teaching quality is king. People in the gang admire those with strong lecturing abilities. As for Zhang Yu's teaching style, it was even more authentic and needless to say. Just the temperament of integrating the score contempt chain into his speech, just a casual sentence, it can be seen that he is not only high in martial arts level, but also from a serious key high school. Black Crow thought in his heart, if I put up the sign of a retired teacher from a key high school, I will definitely be able to recruit many students. But to say that the most surprised person on the scene from beginning to end was definitely not these three teachers from the Dark Learning Gang, or Black Crow on the side, but the doll hanging on Zhang Yu's chest. This guy has only learned excavation palm for a few days. It seems that he learns cultivation techniques quickly, not just simply fast, but truly understands them thoroughly, and can even melt various cultivation techniques into one furnace, truly mastering the power in them. Damn. The doll thought to himself, how was this potential stimulated? Could it be that without my knowledge, I have actually mastered such a terrifying potential stimulation method, which created Zhang Yu, this peerless monster? Doesn't that mean I have the qualifications to become an evil god king? Could it be because of this that I was harmed by others? Then Zhang Yu also slightly demonstrated the teaching level of Crane Claw and Elevator Vertical, and naturally they were also recognized, and everyone admired his wide range of involvement even more. After sending away the three of Kaitu, Black Crow began to discuss the specific teaching matters with Zhang Yu. Finally, under Black Crow's suggestion, the doll's experience reference, and Zhang Yu's own arrangement considerations, the course arrangement was set. But what Black Crow first talked about was the tax issue. He only heard him explain it's okay if you don't want to reveal your identity. You don't have to buy the right to spread and teach the cultivation techniques, but taxes must be paid. We will withhold them here. The tax is really too important. In the past, some gangs didn't bother to manage these, and the teachers went to report the tax themselves. However, they encountered a fearless person who secretly didn't pay the tax. In the end, he was found out by the righteous god, and the entire gang was captured as a whole. The whole gang went bankrupt and owed a lifetime of fines that they couldn't pay off. Now they are still working overtime in the company to pay off their debts. It is said that the overtime has been arranged for 200 years. Speaking of this, a trace of fear also appeared in Black Crow's eyes, so the matter of paying taxes cannot be sloppy. Our gang will be fully responsible for paying it for you, so you don't have to worry about it. The tutoring fees calculated for you are usually calculated after the commission, and then according to the after-tax. In addition to Limitless Cloud Hand, the most profitable courses are naturally Excavation Palm, Crane Claw, Racing Car Legs, and Elevator Vertical. Black Crow said, Teacher Ma, when will it be convenient for you to come to class? Zhang Yu said, the sooner the better. Black Crow smiled slightly and said, okay, I happen to have an Excavation Palm class here that needs a teacher. There are currently 59 students enrolled in the class. Each class is 60 minutes. We will give you 6,500 for a class. We will tentatively arrange 10 classes a week. What do you think? Zhang Yu's heart jumped when he heard the words, and he couldn't help but breathe a little faster. He thought to himself, 10 classes a week, that's 65,000. Damn, the dark tutoring world is really profitable. But Black Crow looked at Zhang Yu without answering, but thought that Zhang Yu disliked it too little. After all, a strong person who can cultivate many martial arts to level 10 is definitely at the peak of key refining level, and the income and expenses will not be low. So Black Crow said, after all, you have just come here. When your teaching quality is recognized, you will definitely be able to arrange more classes and more students. At that time, your income will definitely increase a lot. Zhang Yu nodded and nodded, suppressing the impatience in his heart. Then, when will the class start? Black Crow, tomorrow. After leaving the park that night, Zhang Yu breathed a slight sigh of relief. He thought to himself, in this way, the weekly income of 65,000, if I do well in the future, and the courses are arranged a little more, the income can be even higher. Thinking of this, Zhang Yu really breathed a sigh of relief, feeling that the economic pressure on his shoulders was much less. In this way, I have money to eat Hunyuan pills, and my physical strength can finally be quickly improved, and there is no problem in participating in sports competitions. At this moment, the doll on his chest said, how is it? I didn't lie to you, right? How can a serious job earn money as fast as mixing with the underworld? And I know all about the various underworlds and dark worlds in this country. With me helping you, the probability of you climbing up will only be higher. Xiong Yu did not answer, but he had to admit that understanding some intelligence about the dark world through this evil god was indeed helpful to his immortal path. On the way back, in order to show his presence, or to continue to show Xiong Yu his importance, the doll reminded again, you remember, Xiong Yu, the most important thing in doing illegal tutoring is that you can't trust anyone. Also, since you are doing this line, then don't pity those who come to buy classes. Almost all the people who come to the dark tutoring world to buy classes are poor ghosts, but don't worry about whether their money is borrowed, sold from houses, or mortgage organs. They buy and we sell, and it's not like we force them. If they go bankrupt and jump off the building in the future, it's their own fault for not having money to cultivate immortals. In the next few days, Xiong Yu cultivated in the school during the day, and either cultivated in the unfinished building at night, or taught classes to people in the dark learning gang's park. Finally, he saved enough money to buy Hunyuan pills again, and gradually began to have days when he could take Hunyuan pills every few days. Seeking monthly tickets. That night, as he swallowed the primordial pill in one gulp, the potent medicinal power once again surged through his limbs and bones. Xiong Yu immediately activated the Scarlet Mirror primordial key, making every muscle, organ, and bone in his body exert their full strength, striving to absorb the incoming medicinal power. At times like this, Xiong Yu could always clearly feel that the 30,000 yuan he spent on medicine had not disappeared, but had instead integrated into his body, ultimately transforming into a part of his flesh and blood. In the blink of an eye, a night passed, and Xiong Yu looked at the level of his physical strength, 2.08, on the feather book, a hint of gratification on his face. Now, 2 weeks had passed since the martial arts competition. There were still 2 weeks left, until the confirmation of whether Xiong Yu and Bai Zhenjin were qualified to join the sports competition team as one of the top 5 in sports performance. And there were still 6 weeks until the start of the sports competition. During this time, although Xiong Yu focused his main energy on physical strength, with the support of the mental cultivation method and passive breathing exercises, his Dao heart and mana naturally also improved. On the feather book, the displayed levels were Dao heart 3 and mana 25.5. The improvement of Dao heart and mana seems to have slowed down a little, but it's not a major issue for now, and there's no need to consider changing to a more powerful cultivation method. I should still focus on physical strength for now. With my current income, not only can I continuously afford primordial pills, but if my income increases further in the future, I can even get some more dietary supplements. If I continuously use the level 10 Scarlet Marrow primordial key to improve my physical strength, then entering the top 5 in physical strength in 2 weeks should be no problem, and it seems not impossible to improve to level 4.0 or above in the sports competition in 6 weeks. Thinking of this, Xiong Yu looked at his savings. During this period, although he tutored Song Hailong again and went to the industrial park for tutoring, with the arrival of the new month, after deducting 15,000 yuan for loan interest, less than 2,000 yuan for rent and utilities, and expenses for primordial pills, food, and so on, Xiong Yu now had only a little over 5,000 yuan left in his account. Alas, I'm still poor. I hope they arrange more classes for me soon. Thoughts flashed briefly in his mind, and Xiong Yu had already hurried to school. As soon as he arrived at the school gate, Xiong Yu saw the display of the monthly exam results. On this day of the monthly exam results being released, the teachers and students of Songyang High School were also jubilant, joyfully welcoming the new scores. Remembering the monthly exam 2 days ago, Xiong Yu also sighed slightly. It's a pity, if the monthly exam could have been a few days later, after I had taken this second primordial pill and tempered my body, my scores should have been higher. But it's not a big problem, my sports score should be higher in the next monthly exam. After casually glancing at the monthly exam rankings, Xiong Yu walked towards the classroom. For him, the monthly exam was something he only needed to pay a little attention to. The competition was what he truly valued. He still clearly remembered what Zhang Pianpian had said to him. Xiong Yu murmured in his heart, if you want to get into the top 10 universities, win all the remaining competitions in the first year of high school, and become the strongest first-year high school student in Songyang City. But just before Xiong Yu stepped into the teaching building, with a loud bang, a figure had fallen from the sky, plummeting towards the ground. Xiong Yu subconsciously flashed aside, then reached out and caught him. With the white formless cloud key gushing out, he had already brought up a gentle force to catch his falling figure, dissipating the force of the fall. Looking at the person he had saved, Zhang Yu was slightly stunned. "You are Xiong Yupeng." He still remembered this former first-year overall score champion, now a second-year student, who was disciplined by the student council vice president Zhu Cheshin, in the combat class. "Jumping off a building at school will result in a fine. It's a good thing I saved you. And with your level, you shouldn't die from this height, right? Wouldn't it be even worse to get seriously injured and go for treatment?" But the next moment, Zhang Yu realized that something was wrong. Although Xiong Yupeng's appearance hadn't changed much, the feeling he gave Zhang Yu was light, incomparably light. The flesh and blood under his clothes seemed to have disappeared by a large amount, not at all like the strength a second-year student should have. Facing Zhang Yu's questioning gaze, Xiong Yupeng said nothing, neither thanking him for saving himself, nor blaming him for saving himself, but silently stood up and walked towards the teaching building. Zhang Yu opened his mouth, but didn't know what to say. He felt a kind of deathly numbness from the other person. In the end, Zhang Yu said, "Are you okay?" Xiong Yupeng paused, and said faintly, "I'm fine, I just couldn't think straight for a moment. I still have to pay off debts, so I won't jump again. Please don't tell anyone about what happened today, otherwise the school will find me." Speaking of this, Xiong Yupeng was silent for a moment, then said, "That sports competition you better give up, there will be no good results." Inside the classroom of Class 1, Grade 1. Several students were surrounding Hidayu, congratulating him. "Dayu, you've improved so much during this time, you actually got first place in the grade in this monthly exam. 662 points, this score can already get you a free visit to Bailong High School, right? General Knowledge 49 points, Heart 130 points, Mana 143 points, Sports 150 points, Martial Arts 95 points, Taoist Arts 95 points. The top students of the three major high schools are only at this level, right?" Hidayu looked at these extras, who sided with whoever had good grades, a hint of disdain flashing across the corner of his mouth. In this monthly exam's martial arts combat test, Zhang Yu and Bai Zhenzhen were assigned to a group, allowing Hidayu to finally achieve a score that matched his level. Martial arts can be considered to have regained the score I deserve. As for Taoist arts, it was his forte, and sports had also become the strongest in the grade with his practice in the competition team during this time. Just then, his phone vibrated, and the news that Hidayu had asked other students to inquire about was sent. That was Zhang Yu's current physical strength. "Zhang Yu, this kid doesn't go to sports class every day. This monthly exam can finally see his physical strength measured in the examination hall yesterday, 2.05 level. As expected of someone who became Zhang Pianpian's dog, he should have been fed a lot of things to be able to improve to this level. But it's far worse than my 2.3 level physical strength, and our gap will only continue to widen." Seeing Zhang Yu's physical strength, Hidayu finally breathed a sigh of relief, feeling that his efforts and money in the competition team, during this time, had not been in vain. "Zhang Yu, you will now experience the feeling of being unable to catch up with me, even if you use all your strength." Compared to Hidayu's excitement, Zhao Tianxing felt extremely uncomfortable. Even Yuzi and Zhen have been completely surpassed by Hidayu. Although he was a little envious of Hidayu and the others, Zhao Tianxing ultimately withdrew from the sports competition team like Qi and Shen, watching another student being added to the competition team, and then his physical strength soared, and his monthly exam score also surpassed him. Zhao Tianxing thought to himself, Qi and Shen disdains using money to buy flesh and buy scores, that's why he withdrew from the competition team. And after Zhao Tianxing also withdrew from the team, he could feel that Qi and Shen looked at him with a higher regard. But he knew that his situation was completely different from Qianshen's, and he didn't have Qianshen's handsomeness and decisiveness at all. He knew that the reason he chose to withdraw from the competition team was only because of his weakness. He didn't have the confidence to achieve sufficiently excellent results after his parents spent half their lives' savings on him. "The sponsorship fee for joining the competition team requires my parents to sell the house to raise enough. This is only the first year of high school. What about the future when more money needs to be spent? With my talent, can I really earn it back in the future, after spending so much money?" Zhao Tianxing didn't have any confidence. He was afraid of wasting his parents' savings, afraid of being burdened with huge debts but achieving nothing, and ultimately chose to give up. I'm really trash, still telling Qian Shen that I don't want to buy scores like him. Obviously I both wanted and I am afraid of failure. In the cafeteria, Zhao Tianxing put down his dinner plate with a melancholy face. He saw Zhang Yu and Bai Zhenjin devouring the synthetic food in front of them, like they were in a competition. Alas, Yuzi and Ajin are always so optimistic, they don't seem discouraged at all even though their rankings were surpassed in this monthly exam. I wish I could be like them. Bai Zhenjin glanced at the protein milk in Zhang Yu's hand while eating, thinking to herself Yuzi has been eating better and better recently. Could it be that he found money? Or sold something he shouldn't sell? Zhang Yu looked at the paste in Bai Zhenjin's plate while eating, thinking to himself Jen also needs to improve her physical strength. This money should also be quite insufficient recently, right? I wonder if she is interested in the dark tutoring world. The doll hanging on Zhang Yu's chest was also observing Bai Zhenjin, and after these few days of observation, she had come to a conclusion. So the doll transmitted her voice to Zhang Yu. Hey, Zhang Yu, do you know if this woman has something in her stomach? PFFD. Zhang Yu felt choked and couldn't help but spit out the things in his mouth. He turned around, lowered his voice, and said to the doll in a voice that only he could hear, Jin is pregnant. On the other side, Bai Zhenjin looked at the paste that Zhang Yu had spat into her bowl. She was sincerely angry. Are you trying to die, Zhang Yu? Do you want to use this kind of despicable trick to snatch food? I'm going to pee in your bowl. The doll said in Zhang Yu's heart, the thing I'm talking about is a spiritual root. This woman has a spiritual root in her stomach. Zhang Yu rolled his eyes. Nonsense. Ajin rented a spiritual root. The doll chuckled and said, really? According to my observation, the spiritual root in this woman's stomach should be her own. It's just that this spiritual root is extremely good at hiding. If you weren't with her every day, and she didn't always use that spiritual root openly in front of you, I wouldn't be able to see this. Zhang Yu looked at Bai Zhenjin in shock, thinking to himself, Ajin has a spiritual root growing in her stomach? Bai Zhenjin said angrily, what are you muttering about? Hurry up and buy me another lunch. Zhang Yu was still thinking about the spiritual root, took his student card, and ran to buy food for Bai Zhenjin. Bai Zhenjin looked at Zhang Yu's phone left on the table gently vibrating. A message was sent. Refining Heaven Extreme, sell me a piece of clothing used worn. When she saw this message, Bai Zhenjin was silent. She silently turned off the screen of Zhang Yu's phone. No wonder I feel like Yuzi has money recently. It turns out that unknowingly, he has already walked so far ahead. Anew? Have you gone this far to earn money for the immortal path? That's it for today's chapter. Don't forget to like and follow so you won't miss the next update. Thank you all for listening.